welcome all. Excuse the sunglasses in January, it's quite a bright, low sun in my eyes today. I'll do a sort of a welcome today because there's I keep getting new subscribers to my channel, so you know, once again, as I've said before, but new people may not have heard it, you know, thank you very much for subscribing and watching what I you know, put out there. It's great, thank you. We're back on Dartmoor. The temperature is about 1 degree, although up here it's probably more like 0, because as you can see there's snow on the ground. Not a huge amount, but a little bit. So we just passed Hound Tor down there, and I flew the Phantom from the stone circles just the other side over towards Steepleton Tor. I haven't got my chopper up in a few months, so it was a bit rusty, but once I got going it was okay. But I didn't go maybe quite as far or anything as I was maybe intending, but hopefully you got a view of Steepleton Tor over there and Hound Tor there. I'll try and get it out a bit more often in future. The humour doesn't get any better. So we're heading up towards Wild Tor and then Hanging Stone Hill, which is you know, just a little bit further on. I think the temperatures are set tonight to go down to about -2 or -3, probably a bit cooler than that with the wind chill. But walking, even though it's 0 degrees, my hands got cool earlier, but walking with the Paramo jacket on, I've got a fleece on, I've got a buff around my neck, and I'm not going to tighten it up, and then I got a merino base layer underneath. So I have to say I am very, very warm. I wouldn't say too warm, but almost too warm. Lassie is just loving it up here. You can just see her over there. I would say she's pretty good on the recall to whistle. Good girl. Good girl. So I'll give her a bit of praise now for coming back so quickly, and I'll do some more filming in a minute. That's Wild Tor there, just just going past Wild Tor. So I was just got a new bungee type lead which I'm using for Lassie when there's sheep around. I've got it tied onto my sternum strap up here, which a friend reminded me was up here and not around my waist. I was never any good at biology. So I've got it tied onto that, and then as I say, I can tie her or clip her on if needed if there are sheep around. There was a few sheep over there, but thankfully Mr. Farmer Giles hasn't put the sheep out yet. So I've just because Lassie came back so well on that whistle, I've just given her toy, so she's just running around with that at the moment. I think she wants me to play with it. As I say, this is Dartmoor. That's Hanging Stone Hill. You can just see in the distance there, just below the sun. I don't think it'll get dark until 5 o'clock today, and it's just coming up to 2, so there's still 2, 3, 4, 5. No, not that bad. So there's still 3 hours of daylight, so I've got plenty of time to get there before dark. And even if it's dark, that's not a problem around here. It's quite easy to find your way around on this section of Dartmoor. But it is just absolutely beautiful up here today. It's just so peaceful. It's just, I said, apart from the army guys over there, I should have stopped them, shouldn't I? So, can I film your bivvy camp, please? They all had bivvies. It was these army blokes, and they all had their tarps out and bivvies. I tell you, they make my trail style look like a palace. But no, it really is absolutely fantastic up here. It's just so peaceful. It's just beautiful. I'll just give you a quick sweep around here. I didn't bring Sooty with me. Get it? Sooty and sweep. Never mind. So that's a sweep around. Over there you've got I think that large one there. That big one over there. I think that's Yes Tor. And then you've got Row Tor, East Mill Tor over that area. So anyways, enough of my cheap shouts. We're gonna head in that direction. See you all in a minute. Just wanted to film this little bit along this path. Hanging Stone Hill, which we flew over not long ago. And so this is the path away from it, and you can see that today at least no one else has been along this path other than us. Just Lass's footprints there, no footprints ahead, and then my footprints behind. Definitely a bit parky up here. I'm warm, but my hands are a bit on the cool side, so I'm going to get walking again. Right, well, we're settled in. Let's just show you around camp. There's Lassie. She's got her waterproof bed at the bottom, and she's got her Z-Lite honeycomb or egg comb type bed to keep her underside warm. I've got a towel here to put over her in case she gets cold, but I think she'll be okay. And then there was a towel under her which she's shifted off. I've brought the MLD Mountain Laurel Designs Supermid with me, and of course, as you can tell, this thing is humongous. I've got the twin mat here, so you'd easily get a second person down there. Be a little bit snugger, but you would easily get a second person in there. And as I say, you've got tons of room over there. As I say, I like the Trail Star, and the Trail Star is definitely my favourite tent or tap, but this is definitely my second favourite. I think this is just an absolute hoot to be in. And of course, as you can see, I've left the door open, so not that I can see out, and not that you can see much, but that's a bit of a view outside of the dark. If you turn the torch off, you'd see the stars. You could even roll that door back if you were extra brave, but I think on this rather chilly night, not that it makes much difference, but I don't think I'll be opening that door as well. One door opens enough. I've got my Nexus tablet. I was just watching a film on that. On these long winter nights, I bring a small speaker with me, so you can actually hear what you're watching. So I've got that there. I've got some more water on, which has just come to the boil by the looks of it. I've just made my custard, with my 11's Nutrigrain. You could of course put a cake in or something like that. That's just very convenient to carry, and I have to say very delicious. That's the remote control and monitor for the Phantom in the yellow pack. The Phantom's in the green pack, and a spare battery which I actually used earlier in that sort of light green pack. The cold certainly does affect the performance of the batteries in the Phantom. I've got some more food in that sack there, spare gloves in that sack there, first aid kit in the blue bag, and a repair kit in this pack just here. A helicopter just went over not long ago, and Lassie probably hasn't seen a helicopter before, so she went a bit flying out the door. I've got her lead wrapped round the centre pole down there, and in her haste to attack the flying beast, she nearly took the whole Supermid with her, but thankfully it didn't. It didn't come down. But she's decided that she wants to be a bit nearer me. In all honesty, that's a bit daft really, because she's got a nice warm bed over there, but she's obviously very comfortable there. But there's nothing much under her there, so I'm probably going to try and shift her over in a minute. Right, well it's about midnight, and I fell asleep about 10 o'clock. And then I woke up about 11 o'clock hearing this munch, munch, crunch, crunch. And that was Lassie having something to eat. So of course that woke me up. So I made a cup of tea. And then I thought, right, let's settle back down to sleep again. But for some reason I couldn't get comfortable. I mean, I was comfortable and warm, but I was feeling very claustrophobic, which is I hope you can actually see my face. Mind you, you're probably better off not seeing. Yeah, so I was feeling quite claustrophobic, and it was I obviously was I'd cinched up the sleeping bag. So I've just loosened that off. I had the buffer around my neck, so I've taken that off as well. I think one of the things is I do suffer from congestion, and I don't think that helps. But I tell you, I think the other thing is I must have been thinking about coffins. I don't know why I was thinking about coffins, but I had this funny feeling I was stuck in a coffin. For want of a sense of humour. I'm not sure what the temperature is at the moment. I'll have a look in a minute, but it's probably about -1. It was actually a bit warmer than I was expecting. All things considered, you wouldn't want to be standing out there in your birthday suit by any means. I think you would freeze your bits and bobs off. But yeah, I was expecting to be like -2 or -3, whereas I think it's only about sort of 0 or -1 or something like that. It's definitely not as cold as I have known it out here. I've put a sort of, you know, that towel over Lassie. She seems quite content having that over her. She's settled in. But as I say, yeah, you can see how humongous this Supermid is. It's ginormous. There's no condensation at all as yet, anyway. But of course, having the door open helps. which is still open, as you can see. I know a lot of people like to be, you know, cocooned and shut into a tent, which is fine. You know, if that's what you like, I quite happily do that if necessary. But for me, it's nice to have the tent door open. I'm definitely feeling sleepy, and then I'll say good morning to you. Well, I'm glad I put a spare. Can you see it there? Lighter in. So I normally just bring one, but last time my lighter ran out of gas. I think it must have a leak because I had filled it right up. So I think I'm gonna have to dump that lighter and get another one to, you know, go with this one here. Well, good morning everybody. It's I can't see what the time is, but it's about 7:30. I don't think the sun comes up for another half an hour, but we've been awake for about an hour. Lassie a bit more awake than normal, but there's a bit more going on. So I think as I sort of take her camping into spring and summer, it'll be interesting to see whether she wakes up earlier and earlier with all the noises going on. Still got her tied up to the centre pole there to stop her from disappearing. I've put her bed away and then just folded her mat up over there. That's a sheep. Oh, sheep. That's interesting. Watch those on the way up. So yeah, it was quite a good night's sleep. It was very warm and just a base layer in this sleeping bag, but this is a very warm sleeping bag. The as you probably know anyway, the seal nylon of any shelter, but particularly a large one like this, does sag a bit by the morning, but that's perfectly normal. All you would need to do on that is just pull the cords outside, or indeed you could probably lengthen the centre pole just to take out some of the slack. It's just where it sort of slackens off during the night a bit. I always try and bring surgical gloves with me, not that I'm likely to be carrying out any surgical procedures. I hope not anyway, but simply when I take the tent down, or in this case the Supermid down, it's good to have something that's waterproof, super lightweight, that I can put over my gloves. These are thinnish gloves, but a bit of warmth to them, to stop my gloves from getting wet. And it has, I think it's just stopped. There was a tiny little snow shower passed over, but thankfully it seems to have disappeared. So what I've done is I've put the sleeping bag in there. That's my down jacket in there. That's my night clothing in there. I've rolled up the airbed there, flattened out the pillow. That's my buff, which I ought to put on in a minute. That's just a bag of incidentals. I think the speaker and a battery charger is in there. That's leftover food. Lassie's 2 pouches there. That's my tablet there. That's my spare gloves, because when it's like this and you're likely to get extra cold or damp, you definitely want spare gloves. I didn't bring a spare hat this time, which was daft actually, but oh, actually I did. No, I've got a very, very thin spare hat, merino cap, and then just a couple of other bits and bobs over there, and then that's my rubbish in there. So what I'll do is I'll fold this mat up here once I've put my shoes on first, and because this is good in winter, bringing a mat like this, because when you're starting to pack stuff away, you want to have something, and you've put your airbed away, you want something to insulate you from the cold ground. So it's always a good idea to bring some sort of foam mat with you as well, and apart from anything else, it's a backup in case your airbed goes down in the night, so at least you've got something. And then of course that's Lassie's foam bed there. So yeah, that's the next thing to do, is to start packing up now.